start streaming, and it should be fine. So today we will, as I promised, we'll start with JSON, with presentation about JSON files, how to work with them in Java, and also regarding the test splitter. We had an issue last time. And yes, the problem was that as I also noticed that there's a problem with the file path we provide here. So the idea is that I'm not sure if I can. No, I think I can. The file path must be written, as I remember, this way. Source, then we go to, yeah, the idea is that we want to open this file. Sorry. So we go to source, I think that's the right way. Then we go to additional. Then we open computers.txt. I think that was the right way. So, okay, yeah, then let's. I think this will. Okay, sorry, my fault. To debug it. I want to debug it, then. So we enter source here, and the eliminator is here, and we can move on. Okay, let's move. Oh yeah. So here we have the error, and I think again the path is incorrect. I don't really remember how it should look like. I had the notepad file which is missed, but okay, maybe let's terminate here. So yeah, the idea from the homework was that okay, one thing. So from the homework, most of you done it correctly with the string tokenizer exercise. Just yeah, maybe let me paste the correct version, because this one is taken from one of you who had the issue. Was this? Yeah, basically the main issue was about the delimiter, as I said. Not delimiter, but the way the string is splitted. So for this task, as it was suggested in the description, is the best way to do it is to use string tokenizer class and split them this way. Okay, let me check. No, not this one, sorry. Just the original one. This one was the right. Okay. So yeah, the idea was again basically the same way we discussed on Saturday. Okay, maybe let me toggle breakpoint here and run the unit test. Okay, so let's run the debug the unit test. Okay. Yeah, this is the way the file path must be provided. Just yeah, that's the way I can check how the file path must be provided, just by putting the breakpoint and run the unit test. So yeah, let's go back to the file we had. So let's debug it. Good. So the idea is that we provide a file path here, and that's a bit different. So here we have source, then we go to additional, then we go to computers txt. Okay, so yeah, it should be correct. Step over and step inside. Okay. Yeah. Okay, here we can see that go inside, and for the maybe let's open the file so we can also move on with the file. Okay, it's already here. Yeah, so we have the first line with the names, and then we have the lines with the data. So here we just split the first line, string tokenizer, and we pass all the values to the array. So we just know the sequence. We skip the first line, then we just set value for the computer, right? And then we move it to the list, and yeah, step over, and now we have the list of the computers with the brand, model, serial number, and year. So yeah, that's the way how we can proceed with the data, just with splitting, with reading the file, processing all the lines of the file. The same way it can be done with CSV files. This is one of the most usual cases when you need to create your own logic for the file. Just know the structure of the file and create the corresponding logic to it. You can proceed with the logic to move the data to the database, to UI, and so on and so on. Just there are plenty of ways how you can use it. Right, and yeah, today we will speak about JSON files. Maybe let's start with the presentation, and then let's move on with Java itself. Okay. How it is used in Java. So yeah, what is JSON? By the definition, it's JavaScript object notation. Maybe let's just go forward with the direct example how the JSON file look like. I think most of you JSON files. So let me just take a simple image. Just one moment. Excuse me. Here we go. So here's the content of a JSON file. is just a simple text file with the data, and yes, it's just a file with the content. And the main idea for us is to yeah, first of all, if we need to read it, then we need to parse it and um, and um, map all the data to the to the classes, to the structures we want to use in Java or in other programming languages, up to your requirements, and then move on with the data. And on the other side, you need to, if you have the data in Java files or somewhere else in database, and the requirement is to create the JSON file from the data, that's also one of the cases you can deal with. And from this point of view, you need to create the JSON file with the data, and to also to parse it, and to create such structure, where you can also see just there are the fields, there are the values of the fields, and also if you have such square brackets, means that these are the arrays. But maybe let's just move step by step. So yeah, this is just a short explanation, short introduction, what's the JSON file is. And yeah, it's taken from JavaScript. Maybe if some of you work with JavaScript, you may notice that the structure of the JSON files is the same as for the objects in JavaScript. That's why it's called JSON, and it's taken from JavaScript. Mostly, yeah, as you know, most of JavaScript is used on web development, and that's why also JSON files have quite strong relationship with the web development. Right? Yeah. Again, this is the format of the text file, which stores and transmits data. Object consisting of attributes, value pairs, array, data types, or any other serializable value. Right? Just again, this is the file with the data. Very common to XML format that concept. Yes, we'll talk about the XML files as well, most likely on Friday. But yeah, definitely this week. So it's very common. It's common to XML file format and concept. Just again, the main concept is we have the data. We have kind of tree as well. We can have kind of tree of data, and yeah, we have the structure, the exact structure of the data we store and transmit, and that's why we need a JSON file, JSON type, JSON files to deal with them, with the data. And again, yeah, it's derived from JavaScript, as I said, and most of the programming languages have the libraries to work with JSON files. Also true in Java. We'll talk about it, and you already installed the JSON, the library for JSON. And if you, most of you wrote, not most of you, but some of you wrote me the questions about the problems with that they face the problems with the installation of JSON library for your project. But I think that most of you solved this issue. If not, then please contact me again. Maybe I will try to help. But maybe I'll definitely try to help you. But I think that it should be fine for all of you. Now you managed to install the JSON library, the library for JSON files. Okay, so yes, the data types. Just maybe I guess short. So these are the values. And these are the fields. Okay, you can have more complicated structure, but the idea is that at the end you have the fields, the fields and the values. And let's talk about what kind of values can be stored in these fields. So first of all, it's just simple. You can have simple number, and comparing to Java or other programming languages, there's no exact type of number values. Like in Java, you have integer, you have float, you have double, long integer, signed, unsigned number. For JSON files and for JavaScript, all the numbers are the same. Can be assigned decimal number that make it a fractional part. Also, you can use an exponential notation, but cannot include non-numbers such as not available numbers. Yeah, there's no distinction between integer and floating point. All the numbers are considering as numbers, and all of them have same type. Then another type is string. Also no character nor separate type for characters. It's just string. Sequence of 0 or more Unicode characters. Strings are delimited with double quotation marks and support the backslash escaping character, same as in Java. The Boolean type is just simply true false, and the array, which is very important type for JSON. We can have the list, which is also considered as the array. Yeah, and that's an ordered list by definition of 0 or more values, each of which may be of any type. An arrays use square brackets notation with comma separated elements. And yeah, the object type is collection of name value pairs where the names, also called as keys, are strings. Objects are intended to represent associative arrays where each key is unique within the object. Right, also just straightforward, but not really sure if we'll use the objects very often, because most of the oh no, it's just we'll talk about it, but the object is maybe it's a bit tricky, not tricky, but not the same as we consider it in Java. And yeah, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about the objects, and the null is just simple empty value using the word null. And yeah, here's the example. As I said, it's quite related to and quite similar to XML format. So yeah, in this case, as I talk about the object, so this the WoW file itself, like in this case, is considered as the object. So we have such brackets. It means that that's the object. So and here we have the object person, and I think in this case it's not named as the person, but we can name it as well by adding the. Okay, we'll talk about the way how we can use the syntax of JSON. Just in this case, this whole section is considered as the person, what we can see in XML. So we have the person, we have the open tag, the closing tag. We'll talk about XMLs later, but yeah, that's the idea. We have open and close tag. Then we have the details. In JSON, you just write them this way. That's the name of the field, of the attribute. Then the value, again the name, the value, the name of the attribute and the value. Then you have, for example, like in this case, there's an address, and you can have the value, and in this case, the value is another object. Yeah, just when you see this type of brackets, that's the object. Here's also the attributes. Yeah, from this point of view, it's just quite similar as the objects in Java. Right, you have the attributes, but again, there's no encapsulation and nothing something like this, just the attributes. And yeah, here also again the name of the attribute, then the value, name the value, and so on and so on. And another attribute, right in this point, it's just we continue with these attributes. So here's the object, then it's just again the object, but in this case it's not the object, it's the array. And so we have the attribute phone numbers, then we have the array. The idea is that we just have, if we have multiple values, like in this case we have multiple values for phone numbers, maybe it's more clear if you look on the XML structure. You have phone numbers, then you have one phone number with the type and the number, then another phone number with the type and the number. So the same here. We have two phone numbers, and we store again for multiple values. We need to have the array. Like in this case, there's the array, and there are the values, the elements of the array, which are the objects. So we have type again, yeah, here, type, number, and same here. And the last one is sex, which is again also type. I'm not sure why it has the separate object, but yeah, that's also the way. Maybe if you want to add some more details, you can add it here, but in this case it can be just simple in the way. As for the age or last name, I'm not sure why in this example the value of the array is put, the value of the for sex is put into the object, but okay, just the way. If you understand XML format, and you can use this example to understand the concept of JSON file. Right, but I hope it's pretty straightforward. just need to analyze and think about it. Right, then if we talk about JSON file in Java, again, as I said, there are two main parts. The first one is to read JSON file, and the second one is to write JSON file. So let's start with reading of JSON file. As for all the files, like before, we just had the file simple text file. For computers, we have the content. So the first step is to read the content. The second step is to parse the content. So we have separate fields, separate lines there, just everything to distinguish all the parts of the file. And then the next one is we want to retrieve the data from the content. So we want to get some clear data, right? With all the fields populated and populate in the right place. And yeah, the next one is to map the data from the content to the local variables, and then process the data. If you want to display it some way or move the data forward, send it to somewhere, pass it to the database, and so on and so on. And yeah, another task, possible task, is to write JSON file. So again, the idea is you get the content from the database, again from database, from somewhere else, doesn't matter from where you take it. It can be multiple, it can be lots of sources you retrieve the data from. Then you fill JSON objects, JSON file you create, and then you generate JSON file and you process it. And what you need in Java, first of all, you need to have the library for JSON. That's what we already installed. Then in this library you'll find several classes which are must-have for your work with JSON files. So yeah, again, just a simple way with these with these files, with these classes. These are the classes, JSON object, and that's the class to store and to work with JSON object. Again, defined with the, I'm not sure how these brackets are called, but and just with these brackets. Then JSON array, that's the class to store and deal with JSON array, yeah, obviously, with square brackets. And JSON parser, that's the class to use to parse the just simple text file. I mean JSON string, just yeah, if you have a string, you can parse it with JSON parser and yeah, just get the content of the file. Right, then maybe let's start our we don't need this one. Okay, I think I have JSON file. And just let's have the practical example here. How we can work with JSON files. So let me find the JSON file I want to use. Okay, a moment. Pause. Okay, imagine we have a glossary store. I will also share this file with you on Discord. Just a moment. Okay, I shared the file with you on Discord in case you think I found them. Yeah. I will also share the link where you can find some JSON examples. I've taken from here, just removed I think this one because there are too much data here and I don't really want to overcomplicate it. Here we can also find some just simple link json.org and example HTML. So yeah, there are some examples of JSON file you can try it yourself, but for our today's session I just selected the glossary store. Oh, yeah. glossary, I'm sure why I call it store. Okay, let's have it as a store. But yeah, that's the book, and it defines the format of the book. Should I call it store? Okay. So yeah, the idea is that again we have the object, then we have the name, and here we just go down by hierarchy. Okay, I already created the classes here. Okay, maybe let's just go step by step. Moment. Let's even create a new package here. So we have JSON test. And first of all, I want to have the same structure in style of class of the same type as the class in Java. So for this purpose, I create the class, call it Glossary. Okay, and I'm not really sure if I need. No, I don't think I need anything. And based on the file, first of all we have the title of this glossary. So of course, let's create it as type of the structure. Type string. For JSON file, as you remember, most of the not most, but the string, the text value is considered as a string, so it's okay if we use string. We also can use for division, for example, we can use char, and just after that just cast it from string division. And here we also can see that we have the glossary entries, and this is the array, and you can see that we have another complex structure here. And for this purpose, let's create another class just to use it for the entries. And let's have it class entry. Yeah, that's for every class will be, so not every class, but the class is created for these entries. So we have same structure for them. So we can create the class for this structure. So what do we have here? Here we have the ID. It will be considered as the string. Have sort as, which will also be the string. Sort as. And then we have string class term. Yeah, then we have the acronym. Okay, maybe let's use the lowercase. Private string abbreviation. Okay, and let's also generate getters and setters for this class. Yes. Alright, so for this class it's fine. I'm not sure if we really need more. Yes, I think that's it for this class. And here we need to have the list. Have the list for the gloss entries. So maybe again let's use the no. Let's see. So that's the name of the class. Here we can just set the entries. Yeah, as you can see, that's there because we need to import. We need to import the class for lists. Let's do it. Just in Java util. That's the package for some utilities, and here we can see that there's the Java class list. And here let's also generate getters and setters. That's practically it for the classes. Yeah, and as you see, we just use these classes as the structure. Basically, there's no behavior, just no way these classes do something. There are no methods where the value can be. Okay, yeah, there's just methods for getters and setters and nothing more. These classes just used as the structure. The structure for the objects, in our case for JSON. Let's just have another file to implement the logic for our JSON file. So we have, let's create the file the class which we'll use for JSON, for a JSON file. Okay, I think we can have 10 minutes break now. So after the break we'll proceed with the logic for JSON file. Okay. Okay, let's move on. Yeah, first of all, what do we need to do? Yeah, first of all, let's read JSON file. Yeah, let's read the JSON file. Maybe we can do it right here. So we have the file. I think it is not always. Okay, we need to import the corresponding class. Here we can use it. So in this case, I would just hard code the path. I'm gonna have JSON test, and maybe I think I don't have the file here, so let me paste the file here. Just copy the file, so we have the glossary file here, and here it can be used here. Txt, I think it should work fine. Oh no, I think the file. Okay, we have Java 8, so we may have some. Let's just use it this way. Declare the string path. Close this one. Okay. And let's declare the string for the content of the file. And that let's split it. Yeah, we just want to get the whole file as one string. Let's get the lines of the string lines, and now let's have pass. And let's get pass. Okay. I also need to import stream. Let's not import everything. Just call stream, and yeah, also for the Java pass. Import Java new file pass. This one. What's the problem here? Yeah, need to catch the exception. Sometimes it must be mandatory, especially if we read a file. Yeah, of course, need to pass the parameter print stack trace. So here we just print the error to go out. Okay, no more errors here. So now we have the lines of the file, which is also considered as kind of the list, but meant for the files, meant for this just string lines. And here we can get the content. Yeah, this way, sorry. Content equals lines collect. I'll use collectors. Not this way. Collectors. So we need to import them. Okay, we already have collectors. And this one. Collectors, then joining. We'll use system line separator. Okay, now we just have the file in one content. Maybe let's print it out to check that the file can be read correctly. Print and print content. Yeah, now we can see that the file is read and we have the content of the file. We don't need it. So yeah, now we can see that the file is read. Maybe let's even create a new method just to make it more clear here. Okay, get content string pass, or maybe none, but yeah, let's just use this way. Okay, and we can just copy this code here. I think I missed one bracket here. Not. Okay, just use dummy. And maybe we can just return it from here, right there. So if we want, you can content and the pass was the pass. So yeah, if you want, just for you, if you want to print, check if the content is correct, the file is read. Just check it one more time. Yeah, we have the correct file, so that we have the correct content. Okay, now we have the file, and what do we need to do? We need to process it, right? Then maybe let's just have void process file. This is JSON file, and yeah. Here we have the content. Okay, so now we have the content with the JSON file, and we can create the JSON object so we don't use thread. Okay. Oh yeah, it's duplicated. Sorry. Yeah, let's import our JSON package, and here we can use it. So first of all, let's maybe it's even better that we have the content here. It will be easier to go through with the logic. So here we can see that the JSON file is considered as the object. So we have such brackets. Okay, maybe let me check what's the name of these brackets. I forgot. Brackets. What's the name for these brackets? Technical name. Okay, never mind. Just yeah. So we have the object inside this file. This is one object, and so we want to get this as the JSON object, and JSON object again, that's the class JSON object, and yeah, that's maybe let's call it file object. And here we create the instance of new JSON object, and here we pass the content for the of the JSON file. So now we have the JSON object, and we are in the first step. We have all the stuff located inside. All right, let's move on. So now we got the JSON object here. I see there's the question from Vienna. Could you please let us see the code for a few minutes? Okay, yeah. I think all the code is available for you. Okay, maybe let me. Okay, maybe I can even share it in Discord. So just you can write if you want, and I can I can move on. Yeah. So here we create again the file, the object, which is basically this object. So now we have this content, what is here. So from this bracket to this bracket. Okay, even more, maybe let's just call this method here test JSON. Let's process a file with the content. Okay, maybe just let's print out something dummy to basically this is also the trick for the programming, especially for debugging. In most programming languages, if you want to debug something and you want to check all the statements, all the statements. For example, maybe let's move it here. And for example, you have the last statement of the code or in the stack. So it's, yeah, this is the method, and as you remember, the methods use the stack memory, right? And like in this case, I want to, for example, I want to check the last statement of the code. So here's the last statement of the code, and I want to check in the debugger the content of the statement. But if I go if I step over this statement, I will just go outside this method and I won't see what is happening inside. And for this purpose, I just create the dummy statement here, just to check it during the debugging. So I can check the last statement from the debugger. Right, then let's just check what is this JSON file. So let's step over, let's go to the variables, and here's our file object. We have the map, we have the, and yeah, what we see here is the key and the values. So as it is from, let me open the glossary file. So here it is. As I said, we have the object, JSON object from here to here, and here's the title. Here's the title. I mean, not the title, the title, the name of this. Basically, here we just have one attribute, and this is the value of this attribute from here to here. Yeah. So -1 bracket. So we have one attribute and we have the value for this attribute, and this is basically what is displayed in the JSON object. So here just yeah, from data type perspective, is just a array with one value, and here's the key of this object, and here is the value. So there are basically two attributes. First one is key, here it is, and the value, which is this one. And that's basically the way how we can move step by step in a JSON object, right? Let's stop the debugging. Let's remove the breakpoint. Yeah. So now we have the top. Maybe let's print out the content so I can see the content of the file. And so yeah, now we have the first step, and basically let's move on. Now we can create the glossary object. I mean object from Java point of view. And let's call the constructor. Let's create the object, and now we can fill this object with the values. As you can see, we already have the title. No, not title. Yeah, we have basically at the moment we have nothing. So let's go to the next object, which is basically the value of glossary. So yeah, to get it, what do we need? So as you can see here, we need to have this value, which is some finishes somewhere here. And the type of this value is also JSON object, right? Because it has this section. So again, we have the JSON object. And in this case, it's glossary value, right? For example. And how to get it? So we have the wall object. We want to get this attribute. To get the attribute from object, we need to go from one JSON object, and here we need to call the method get JSON object. And here we provide the key value, and in our case the key value is this one, right? So I want to get this field, and just provide it as string. And now we will have this value, this object. Right. Okay. Now we are here. Now we are here in this object, and here we have the title, and we want to get the title. So we have string title equals glossary value. Here we can get just simple get string. Again, we provide a key, and the key is title, right? Title. Basically, yeah, just need to understand that every JSON object has the methods which will retrieve the corresponding value for you. If you know that the type is object, like in this case, yeah, again, that's the field, that's the attribute, that's the value, and you request to just get me JSON object for the attribute glossary. So this is the attribute, and it will retrieve you the value of this attribute. The same for here. If we have again another attribute which is inside this object, which starts here, we have the attribute, and we know that the type of this attribute is string, so we just call the method getString, and it will retrieve you the value of title. And then again, this is our object. Just want to populate it, and here we just can set title. We set the title here, right? The same way we go down. Same way we go down, and here we can see that there is division for glossary. And again, that's the object. So we create a new JSON object. We define a new variable for JSON object, and that's the variable for glossary division. And here we go from our previous object, which is glossary value, right? Then we want to get the attribute of glossary division here, and the same way as here, we move with gloss division, this one. Okay. And yeah, now we're here. Just we go again one step down to here. And yeah, first of all, I want to get the division, as maybe you remember that I defined this as the character. So here we just have one character S. And I want but again, all the text fields are considered as string, so they have type string. That's why I need to do some casting here. Just to do it, let's define the variable division. Division equals, and here we need to, so we have glossary division from here. So we are here. And again, we want to get there's no option to get it as the character, because that's JSON. But what we can do, again, we want to get the title. which is this one, right? I want to have the field title, I want to get the value s in this case. And for it, yeah, so we are on the string, and we just want to have the first character. And now we have the division, and we can populate it in our Java class. Set division, yeah. Okay, and now it's more interesting part. We have the array, so we have multiple entries for like Gauss entries. We have 2 entries here, and that's the array. So the array has two values inside, so 2 objects. This is the first object, and this is the second object, and we want to populate them to our glossary. So to do it, let's first of all create a new list. As you remember, we have the attribute as the list. Maybe let's even just copy paste it here and create a new array list. So with the type was entry. Okay. Yes, and let's get this array. So yeah, first of all, let's get the object of Gauss list. As we can see, we have the attribute, and we have another object here. So let's define a new variable here. So let's call it Gauss list, for example. Yeah. So we are in Gauss division still. We're still here, right, at the moment. And JSON object, we want to get this list, right? This value. So let's request for it. So now we are here, and from here we want to get the entries for all the Gauss entries. And as you can see here, it's the type is array. It's not the object anymore, that's the array. So I want to get this value. And for array, as I said, we use JSON array. And yeah, let's call the Gauss items. Gauss list. No, yeah, we have Gauss list here. And from here we also can, same as for get string, we used get string, get JSON object, and same way we can get JSON array. And the name of the array is here. So this is also the attribute, the field, and this is the name of the attribute. So now we have this array. Now we have this array, and we want to map it to our list of glossaries. So again, we just here we can yeah, one more thing here. We just declared the array, the list, and here we can add this array to to our glossary class, remember that the list is also considered as, not considered, it is the object. So it has the reference. And here, if we just pass the reference to the attribute of this object, it's here. It doesn't really matter at what time of the execution of the code we passed. We passed this parameter because we pass the reference, we don't pass the values. And in this case, if we pass the values at the beginning or at the end, in this case we pass at the beginning, when we change this variable, this object, the content of the field here, I mean here, which is here, will also be changed, right? That's why I do it at the beginning and don't think about it anymore. So how we can deal with the items of the array? That's a good question, and we can have the iterator. We can use the iterator class. Maybe you can face it. You will definitely face it in different. If you deal with other programming languages, and if you deal with the frameworks. Like we'll talk about the collections a bit later, but just imagine that we have the collection of the items. The collection is the object, is the class, for example, and we want to, if we want to like iterate through these items, if we want to kind of do some filtering or reading or any other related stuff, you will have the class iterator. Right, in different frameworks it can have a bit different structure, but yeah, it's very commonly used in lots of frameworks and different programming languages. So it's very good if you know what is the iterator. Right, in this case, that's kind of the list type of the list. One can define the variable, and from gloss items you can get iterator right here. So now we have the iterator, which will allow us to iterate through all the items of the array. Let's check if iterator has next. We can do it this way. If it has next, then let's move on. And yeah, as you can see, we have objects as the items of the array. So again, we use JSON object here. Let's find this item, and that's what we want to get next from the iterator. But what's the problem? The iterator is defined as the object. I'm not sure if we can define it directly as JSON object. Not really sure, but yeah. Let's just cast it to JSON object. So we know that the items of the iterators are JSON objects. That's why we cast the item to JSON object and pass it to our variable. And yeah, we can also create our Java file, Java class here, Java object here, the object with the reference to our class, this one. I want to create it, so let's create it. And yeah, for every entry we have a new object, close entry, and here we can set all the values. Gloss item. Set ID. Set ID, we can set it here. So the ID we take it again from the JSON object, and here we also can get just simple string here. This one, right? We want to get this one. We do it here the same way for all other. Set abbreviation. Get item. Get string. Oh, wait, sorry. Yeah, this one. Not get, but set. That's the problem. Ah, yeah, sorry, get string. Yeah. Fun, yeah, be sure that you use the right method, then set acronym. Again, let's retrieve it from here. Close item. Set start again. Yeah, let's get string. Yeah, not acronym, but class term. And the last one is set sort as. Get string sort as. Okay, I think we set up all the attributes, and here we can just add them to our collection to our lists of glossaries. And gloss item. And that's practically it for our file here. Right? Yeah, let's maybe just, and now let's debug just to see what do we have at the result. So now we have the class of glossary here, and let's see. So we have division S, which is correct. Then we have the title example glossary, which is also correct. Then we have the list with 2 elements, which is also correct. And yeah, the value seems also to be correct from the file. So yeah, basically here we just have the class with the attributes with the content field from the file. So everything seems to be correct. And basically for this, now we processed the JSON file, and yeah, everything is fine here. need it. Yeah, here we use the JSON file to just get the data, and also the same way we can we can we can we can just do it vice versa. If we have the content, not the content but the data, and we can create the JSON file from the data. Maybe just let's create it as simple as it's possible, but I think how we can create it more simple. Maybe yeah, for this example it may take a bit time, but the idea is that you just put the values basically at the same way. Let me think about how we can maybe even here. Just we already have the structure. One moment. Okay, maybe let's just have more simple example, because this one will take a bit long time. And just the concept is quite simple. Just maybe let's just create our own file with some very simple data. Static create JSON static void. Let's just create our own content, and like in this case we have let's have kind of let's have the array, for example. We have the the array of employees. Employees. String. Maybe populate the array. So let's use some simple, have some words here. So, okay, and we want to create the, let's create the JSON object here again. We need to have the JSON object anyway. Employees, no. Yeah, maybe let's have the employee for each employee. That just, for example, have a loop here. let's create a new object for them. JSON object, and here we have JSON object, and we can for each employee we can set up. We can put the value for every employee. Like employee, here we can put, and here we put the field name. Put the field name, and the value. The value will be taken from employees, and maybe if you want to hardcode something, you can put maybe department. Imagine that they all work in the same department. The information technologies, and imagine we have the array, JSON array, is array, for example, simple JSON array. And here we put our JSON object to JSON array. Okay, maybe even at the end we can create a new JSON object. Company equals new JSON object. And here we can put, imagine we have two attributes for the company. Again, we can company put title, like let's have the title. It's going to be company, it's company name, for example. And here we can put company employees, and here we can put the array of employees, right? Okay. Maybe let's print. Sure if it will work, but when company to string. Not really sure if it will show us the string, but let's check. Okay, JSON. Okay, hope. Just maybe let's skip this content. We don't need it anymore at the moment. Yeah, and here we can see that we have the JSON file now. Maybe the parser can. Mhm. Yeah, or just a moment. I think you can parse it in a more clear way, or not. Just a moment. That's simple. Yeah, we have no parser here. Okay, but never mind. Yeah, I hope you can understand that here we have the JSON file. We don't really need to parse it here. Yeah, you can have some online editor. So yeah, here we just copy the string from here, and the result you have this JSON file. We have again the list of employees and the title, and yeah, now you have the JSON file. Right, the idea is quite simple. I think you just construct your own file, but please note that yeah, you construct your own file, which has just yeah, as again JSON only have the attributes, and please please think about these attributes, how these attributes are constructed, and if you know it, if you understand it, you can step by step create your own JSON file. One thing in Java is that you must understand that that the attributes are unordered. Like in this case, the title is put at the end. I'm not sure if I change the sequence here, it will remain. It will change. It will be changed at the end as well. So what's the error here? Okay, I'm not sure where's the error. Yeah, yeah, it's a bit strange. Shows that there's a problem, but it's quite strange. Okay, yeah, here's the error. We don't need it. Okay, and okay, as you can see, the title is still at the end. So the idea for JSON file is that the attributes are unordered, right? So in yeah, just if you create your own JSON file, please note that the sequence of the attributes doesn't matter. So you can have employees at the beginning, you can have the employees at the end. It doesn't really matter. And in a unit test, once you have the unit test in your for your extra 05 exercise, so I already completed it. Just there's one there's one thing. Yeah, this one it expects from you this string. Yeah, maybe let's use online parser. So this is what it expects from you. Have cars. You have the array of cars, but yeah, for example, if you write your own code, you get something like this. Let me also open it in a different screen. this is what you get. Mhm. Yeah. Basically, this is absolutely the same. The only difference is the sequence of the attributes here. So we have model price here, but the data is quite the same, and yeah, maybe the floating points are also different, but that doesn't really matter for us in this case. Yeah, just if you have the unit test results this way, it's fine. You don't really need to care about the sequence, also about the about the about the values, but okay, this one can be fixed. You can fix this one, but yeah, in general, if you have the results of unit test like this, just yeah, if the problem is the sequence, it's absolutely fine. Yeah, it will be considered as they're completed as the unit test is completed without the errors for your home task. Okay, now we can have 10 minutes break, and after that we'll have the final part of our today's session. Okay, let's move on with our final part of today's session. Yeah, this is pretty it about JSON. Yes, you have the homework activity extra 05. Basically, for now, you have all the knowledge to do it. So please do it. And yeah, again, the deadline is the end of this week. Okay, let me check it again. Let me check this file. Yeah, Google Drive. Yeah. And for those of you who missed this file, yeah, we have the file. I think that every one of you knows about it, but in case you missed it, yeah, maybe. So I think that's not the way to share it. I guess get link. Yeah. Just maybe one more time. I will share it with you, so you can, yeah, so you can check the deadlines for the homeworks. And yeah, for extra 05, the deadline is end of this week. And there's also, yeah, as you can see in the D column, the activity 06 will be for until the end of, not until next Wednesday. Yeah. So maybe let's have a short introduction to it. Yeah, the name is quite interesting. So you'll have that's the right one. So let me check. Oh yeah. So you'll need to create two classes here, class human and class Martian, and yeah, you can check the the requirements here. As you remember, this is the part of the section for abstract classes and interfaces. So yes, maybe let's start a bit. First is said, you need to create the class human, which implements the interface of humanoid. You can create class human, and here we can add the interface humanoid. And which method stubs would you like to create? Here we need to select inherited abstract methods, right? Yeah, that's already selected, and press finish. And now we have the methods here, and the same for the Martian class. Same for the Martian class. Sorry. For the Martian class. and this one will implement multiple methods, multiple interfaces. So for the, I think we can select. Oh no, we cannot select. Okay, then let's just add them step by step. Oh yeah, I think yeah, we can add it this way. Okay, alien, callable. Yeah. So as you remember, we need callable for the classes to make them to be able to call them, right? Yeah, the class name Martian. Then we add all the interfaces and create inherited abstract methods for them. Right, and after that, as a part of your homework, you'll need to implement these methods as it is written on the requirements. Right, I hope it's in the requirements seems to be clear, but in case you have any questions, as usually, please contact me. And yeah, and maybe the last part of our today's session is to have a small discussion on the previous homework. I mean activity 05, the activity for amphibia. Those are famous activity where most of you had the issues, had the problems. Maybe let's just go through a bit and just let's understand what was the problem. Okay, just maybe let me find what was the exercise. Yeah. Yeah, here. You can open it in parallel, check. Yeah, first of all, you need to create the classes, water road, the ship, and the vehicle. Right, we have all these classes here already created. Right, then let's maybe start with water route. So here we have just a simple class which extends the water route. Here we have two constructors, the one which is with 3 parameters and one which has no parameters, and maybe the most important method which triggered some problems for you is method to string, which just returns the class as the string. So here we need to return the name of the class, just what route in the most simple case, and the string from the route. Okay, yeah, for this class it's pretty clear. I think the route is the class from the previous session. It's probably, yeah, I think that's copied from one of your logic. I'm not sure why. So here's a syntax error. Let me paste my original code. Why here's the yeah, that's it's a bit interesting why I do have the error here. So we have the constructor, we have the parameters here. Okay, it's a bit strange. Let me recopy the code. Don't need a superclass here. Okay, yeah, never mind. So yeah, that's the class route from activity 04. We'll discuss it. So yeah, just check if the method to string is correct here, and then we go to water route. We use the end. Yeah, maybe let's go again to our route. So here we have from the route from to distance and kilometers at the end. So yeah, I think that's pretty clear. If the class route is correct, then we go to the vehicle class, we go back to original code, to the vehicle, and yeah, that should be a subclass of transport. And here we just have the again the constructor, constructor with the parameters. We call this constructor from the superclass. Otherwise, that will trigger the error because we don't have the okay, and yeah, that's also the code with errors. I think it's not the original code. That's not the original code. Okay. Yeah. So okay, the transport is correct. Yeah, as you can see, there's no unparameterized. There's no constructor without the parameters. So that's why we need to call the constructor from the superclass with the parameters here. So we have the additional parameter wheels, and we set up, and that was kind of the tricky case here that we want to. So we have the road, and then we need to check what's the type of the road. So if we have the road which is the road, yeah, this was requested, create class vehicle, and all protected attribute, yes, we do have here, implement vehicle, string, it's also done here. Then override method move, which returns string in form ID vehicle. In our case, I have the method getType, which is already implemented as this returning ID. And type, in theory, you can also put the ID here. It doesn't really matter. Then it's driving on the road. Yeah, otherwise if the instance is not the road, we cannot drive it here, right? And if we have the water road, it will also be considered as the road, as the class road. It's quite simple. Then, yeah, we go with these wheels. And yeah, if the status is cannot, so we go to the superclass and we check if we can move. So we have, if there's a vehicle, we check if there's enough fuel here. If not, then we cannot move. Yeah, if we cannot drive on the road, if we have no enough fuel, then we cannot drive. That is checked in the superclass transport. Right, that's for the vehicle. For the ship, it goes similar way. Also check if that's the instance of the road, then water road. In this case we need to check because ship can move only on the water road. Right, then we return the type. In this case it's yeah, it extends transport, and it also will have the ID in the method as the returning parameter of method, as a part of the returning parameter of the method get type. Right, that's the same way. And the last one, the most complicated, was the amphibia class, which by the requirement needs to be a class that is transport, but in the most simple case, so it's just, yeah, I think I copied. I use that I tested yours code. Maybe let me use my original code. I think that was the right one. Okay, let me check if unit tests are correct. Yeah, unit tests are correct here. So the idea is that you extend the class vehicle. Again, as it is requested, you have the constructor here. Yeah, you have the constructor. Yeah, you don't really need to pass all the parameters because you have additional parameter sales here. You pass it from here, and here you have the method route. So first of all, let's check if let's define status. If we are on the if we have nothing to return, then we just return nothing. Otherwise, yeah, if we are on the water road, then cast the road to the water road, and again return get type. And in this case, so since we are the vehicle, then we just have again the class, the ID, and the name of the class, and is sailing on. Then it returns the water road. So yeah, you can also check it. Check it here. It returns the string. Okay, and it's sailing with number of sails. And if it's the water road, then just it's more simple. Just you don't really need to do the casting even here. You can just use the same method here, and it should be fine as well. Yeah, you simply need to call the method move from the superclass. For those of you who use the approach to extend class transport, you could also do it this way, but it might take a bit more steps to you. So have float integer, string float, oh yeah, so what was the constructor? Super integer float, yeah, tag size. ID is ID, consumption is consumption, and tag size is tag size. Yeah. And now we need to change it a bit for the super. So here we don't call the superclass. So for the water road, it's fine. For the method, for the vehicle, maybe let's just copy the method move here from here. Yeah. So we cannot use super anymore here because yeah, here we also cannot use the method super. But what we can do here, superclass is transport, and as you can see, amphibian extends transport, so we can call this superclass in this case. Hope that that's correct. And with views and one. Views cannot be resolved, but why don't we have views here? Oh yeah, because that's for the moment. One moment. Vehicle has wheels. I see there are questions coming. Oh, yeah, that's from Amanda. Yeah, for the road. Moment. Water road. Yeah, you have yeah, for the water road it's quite simple. Then for the yeah, that's correct. You need to just return. Yeah, you use the replace, but I don't really like to use. Yeah, that's Fernanda. I don't really like to use the place. Yeah, we can also. Yeah, that's thanks Marito. We can just use the wheels as the part of amphibia. Private wheels. Private integer wheels. I think we can use. And then yes. I'm not really sure if it will work from first step. Maybe something is missed. Oh no, it actually works. Okay, so basically in case, yeah, thanks Marito for help. Yeah, thanks Marito for help. Yeah, just, I remember I did it my own way, then I cleared the code, then I just used different approach. So yeah, basically the idea is that you use the same logic taken from the vehicle class, but as you can see there's more code here. It's much simpler to use the vehicle class as the superclass. And then yeah, as you can see, most of you, as I've seen most of you use kind of replace statements here. which is not really needed, because yeah, basically replace statements, but is way too a bit to not cheat, but to step over some concepts of object-oriented programming. But in this case, yeah, it's also the way how you can deal with this class. Okay, I think that's from the theory point of view, that's pretty it for today. And now it's time for your questions. If you have such questions, please ask. Okay, if there are no questions, I think we can finish our today's. Okay, I see Victor is typing something. Yes, okay. I will share all the code examples. With you. Staging. Yeah, I share everything coded today. Maybe I can also share the amphibia with you as well. Okay, maybe let's. Yeah, all the files are added here. Okay, this file is not used anymore, so we don't really need it. And I'll share amphibia as well. Oh, it's raining again. Okay. And yeah, one more thing for you, please, for your homeworks. Yeah, for the homework. So even if you already done it and sent to me and push it to Bitbucket, please also attach the screenshots of the unit tests if you done the unit tests. Yeah, if unit tests were passed, then please also attach the screenshots of them so I can easily check if everything works fine. Please, yeah, for the previous homeworks, please do it as well if you haven't done it before, because yeah, it's easier to check that everything is done. Sorry, that everything is done correctly. So yeah, for amphibia. Xanafor, you can just place the screenshots next to the files with the logic completed. So if you have the package, you have a folder, you can place it exactly in the same folder. It will be easier for me to just find them. Right? Okay, so yeah, maybe for amphibia. So I'm not sure if you need all the code, all the files here, but I think I can share them all to here. Let's move. No, I don't. I just want to copy them. Copy and paste them here. Okay, so now we have more on-stage changes here, and I think we can. So today is the 9th of September. Yeah. And this question from Git. Question from Git. Just a moment. Well, for business, how affects everything what was previously. Maybe. Okay, for Git, I'm not really sure. Yes, you can. Yes, okay. I get it. It's fine. You can attach only from now, but please, for the future homeworks and for for the future homeworks, please send the screenshots. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure if you have the.
I have a question.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
Should we announce if some homework will not be done in
No,
time?
no. You don't need to
Okay,
announce it.
thank you.
Just yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? Yes, Christine, I already checked the homeworks, but the idea is for those who haven't sent me the who haven't sent the screenshots. That was a bit trickier, and but I think I can share the results individually for to every one of you. And
I haven't sent you the screenshots, but I touched them in the um, repository in downloads, I think. Or it's better to send you in the Discord.
it doesn't remember. I think I checked all the sources. I mean, I checked
Yes,
I think I checked my Discord. I checked the Bitbucket. I checked my email as well. So I hope I haven't missed anything you sent to
no,
me.
that's how to understand whether the homework has been checked.
I will
Yes.
share. I will share the results with you.
Ah,
Right.
okay.
I think I can share. I think I can share in Discord privately to you, everyone to you. So I hope I haven't missed. I haven't missed any source. I mean, I hope I checked all the emails, all the messages from you, and of course all the logic in Bitbucket. But yeah, please don't blame at me if I missed anything. I will recheck again if I missed something. Right?
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Yes, I will share individually to you. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, then if not, then I will share the results with you today. So right now after the session, and please let me know if I missed something. If you think that some results are missed. Okay, thank you for attention today, and let's meet on Friday then. Thank you, and good night.